Please, please, please forgive me.
Don't feel anything at all.
What if Tommy never actually killed Holly and he would have discovered the truth before he killed her that she was pregnant with his baby and he essentially was going to be a dad? Because I would say like the trajectory of like Tommy's character would have been very interesting as I dissect like a few things about his character, and I think that ultimately he probably would have liked it, the idea of being a father, but I think ultimately he's meant to be like a lone wolf because going forward with like everybody's character from like Ghost, Tommy, Kanan, and even Tariq, where everybody's character was like different, where it came down to like, taking over the streets or, having a family or just wanting to do things because they wanted to do it, right? Out of necessity. But I think that for Tommy's character, he was always meant to be like alone because I think the difference between like him and Ghost was, Ghost had the family, right? Like he had the family, and I think Tommy liked it, the idea of being like Uncle Tommy and being around like Ghost's children. And for seeing that, it just made Tommy probably maybe wanted something of his own from when he had Holly, and it was something of his, and he figured like maybe if Ghost can have it, maybe he can have it as well. And even they had arguments about that as well, where he was just like, you get to, have something. How come I can't have anything? And I was like always the focal point in the original Power on how, Tommy and Ghost was like, they had like similarities, yes, because they known each other for so long, but it was just that Tommy wanted something of his own. But I think that if Tommy would have never killed Holly, I think it would have been interesting because then he would have not just been thinking about the streets and also about Ghost. He would have been thinking about, okay, now he has a family now and what to do, because the goal and the ultimate, like, I guess, choice that's always been coming up is, will Tommy actually stay in the game forever? Because seeing how Tariq is already going down that path of staying in the game and getting rid of like weaknesses and distractions or whatever, it's just like Tommy, on the other hand, he never got that option. That option was, he took away that option himself, but he never knew that option never really existed either. So it's just that it's always thinking about like, what would Tommy actually do, or what would he have did if he would have learned that Holly was pregnant with his baby, and what he would have done. But I think that in Power Book Full Force season, I think 3, yeah, when we get like season 3, I think that what's gonna probably happen to Maria is, I think Tommy's gonna save Maria, but I don't think he's gonna be able to keep Maria. I think that when he saves, I think somebody probably might try to, like, an attempt to try to kill Tommy. I think Maria might do something what Angela did, and probably might protect Tommy. She might get the bullet, right? Reminiscent to how when Tommy killed Angela right in front of Ghost. Ooh, I think they probably might do something like that, and I think it's just gonna really set up Tommy to be just like this lone wolf character, and just be like, he can't have anybody like get close to him. Because remember how in the first season of Power Book Full Force, when he was with Gloria, and he was like still coming off of the reels of him losing Lakeisha, and he was just like, he didn't want to get too close to Gloria, because again, if he get too close to her, then he doesn't want to feel that way about her, and then ultimately she died. She still died anyway. But I think that's what they're gonna probably do for like Tommy's character, just like him being like a lone wolf. Like, he can't really have affections with anybody, because either they're gonna get in the way, or something bad is actually gonna happen. Now, it would be kind of stupid, but I'm pretty sure they might go down this not rabbit hole, but in this way on, if Tariq does come to Chicago, then I think Tariq is going to probably give Tommy the advice to me, and like, well, I basically got everything ran in New York City, where I basically got rid of the distractions, the family's safe, and I'm basically in control of New York, which probably might give Tommy that idea of just saying, well, he might probably do the same thing. But the difference between like Tommy and Tariq is just that Tommy does want like a partner, like he does want like affection, he wants those types of things. Other hand is Tariq's a sociopath. Like, he didn't really need those things, because if if Diana was never pregnant with his child, he would have killed Diana. It was really no stopping him from trying to kill the Tejada family, because after what, you know, Diana basically did. So I'm thinking that Tommy's character going forward is just going to be him continuing to be like a lone wolf and doing things like his way, and probably not getting too close to anybody at all, because it's just going to make things worse for him, like going forward. Because I think like even with, like, you know, JP and D-Mac and all of that stuff, all of that is still like a hindrance to him, and it's still a weakness for anybody to like exploit. So if Holly would have been pregnant with, like, you know, Tommy's baby, and she would have like survived, then I think that probably Tommy would have tried to get her out of the city. He probably would have tried to like get her out of the city and be like, well, okay, if you're having this baby, like, you can't be here, because, you know, a lot of stuff was going on at the time. Like, you still had Lobos, and then eventually the Jimenez, then Milan, then Jason. You had all of that stuff happening, right? And then you still had Sneaky Dre running around, and eventually Kanan, right? So it's just all of that stuff probably would have maybe led to him either maybe doing things much more maybe reckless and egregious, but I think that he probably would have tried to protect Holly in a way of maybe getting her out of the city, and maybe she goes somewhere else, and, you know, that probably be the perfect way of, you know, protecting her. I think he probably would have done something what Tariq would have done maybe a lot sooner, in my opinion. I think he probably would have done it like a lot sooner, and probably just would have protected her, and then just been, you know, sending her money or whatever that she needed, right? But then ultimately, I think Tommy probably would have still wanted to be in the father's life. I think he still wanted to be in the baby's life, to know that, you know, he actually was there for the child, because when he learned the truth about Tony Teresi, I think it probably would have made him want to be like a father. But again, that stuff would have happened like way later, once he found like Tony Teresi or whatever. But I think that story would have been quite interesting, because it would have made, you know, Tommy like think more. It would have made him be like, okay, what to do in this situation, and how to do it, and how to protect the family. And then remember, because Ghost, on the other hand, when he had Milan show up at his apartment, or his penthouse at the time, and he was just like basically saying like, listen, I can come here anytime, I can kill you and your family, it is what it is, right? But again, that was like a weakness for Ghost, because again, the family was there. Milan could have got to any one of them at any point in time, but, you know, Ghost was able to handle that situation pretty quickly. But like I said before, I think that Tommy's character was ultimately to be like a lone wolf type of a character, because I mean, when we've seen glimpse of that, like in the original Power, how like Tommy was like really moving. But again, it's just that he can't really get too close to people that he really care about, because the same way that happened with like Lakeisha, where he, you know, they was together, and, you know, things was like going well, but then, you know, Tasha got rid of that. You know, Tasha killed Lakeisha, and then that was pretty much it with that. And now that he's with Maria, it's another hindrance, because it's just like, you know, she got caught up because of him, you know, because he's in Chicago, and he got like enemies everywhere, right? And he doesn't even know there's enemies that's lurking in the shadows that he doesn't know about, which is basically Jannard, right? So it's a lot that's going on. So Tommy was never really meant to have anybody, right? And I think he was just really meant to be like this lone wolf type of a character, right? Ghost was meant to have everything, but it was just like he allowed too much to go on, which basically ruined everything for him. And for Kanan's character, he was smart enough to have everything, but he just didn't see like the betrayal coming, in a sense. He just never really saw it coming. And for Tariq, you can arguably say that Tariq was the one that sort of got everything, and he was the one that really pretty much outsmarted everybody, in a sense. He outsmarted even though we may not like it. We may not like how it was rushed and all that other stuff, but you can still say that he outsmarted everybody. He did something that Ghost didn't do. He did something with Kanan that didn't do. Shit, he even did something with Tommy didn't do. So again, it's just like what Tariq basically did would technically be like the smartest way of just not, you know, having any, being a little sociopath, not getting into relationships or whatever, and just keeping the family safe, and basically doing what needs to be done. Even though Tariq was still a fuck up, because again he was doing too much that made him be put in that situation in the first place. But it's just that when you look at the outcome of what he did, basically having the city, having a whole task force in his pocket, you can arguably say that is a win. But going back to like Tommy, it's just like Tommy's character and the things that's happening right now going forward with him is quite interesting, because I think we're gonna probably see more. Well, we are gonna see more when Power Origins come, and we're gonna get to explore more on how living with Cade and his earlier life with Ghost, and eventually them meeting Kanan, which is gonna be fairly interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, like, what do you guys think about like the idea on if Tommy would have never killed Holly, and Holly would have been alive, and she's basically having this child, and he has to probably think of a way of protecting her, maybe having her leave the city, right? And also, like, what do you guys think about the idea on if Tommy basically saves Maria, but she ultimately dies in his arms, right? Reminiscing to what he did to Angela, because I think that shit would be quite crazy though, where he'd be like, this is how Ghost actually felt, right, when he took Angela away from Ghost, right? So I think that'd be quite cool if they did that, and then it just set up this lone wolf character to be like, you know what, fuck it, I gotta do this shit by myself. Like, I can't get too close to anybody, because like I said before, I think Tommy wants both. Like, he does want both at the end of the day, because he saw Ghost have both, but he's gonna have to realize that he can't have it. It's either one or the other. That's when he told Tariq, you're either a civilian or you're a gangster. You can't have both. And I think for Tommy's story, it's either gonna be you either want a partner or you want to have the streets, right? And he can't have a female and he can't run the streets at the same time. He can't do that. Otherwise, some bad shit is gonna happen, and then so I think that's gonna probably be like his choice going forward, and probably with the arrival of Tariq probably gonna influence him even more. That's gonna probably make that choice much more clearly for Tommy. But overall, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's, and I catch you all in the next one.